Right, cool. So what is Dogecoin?
Yeah, like I said, it's a digital currency.
Like, okay, for instance, this is a dollar, right? It's real. See?
Sorta.
Yeah,
Sorta
okay.
real. Yeah.
So what is Dogecoin?
About as real as that dollar.
All right, another thing that we're gonna get into, something that everyone's been talking about. There's a bunch of different versions of it. I know I know Gio here. He's actually more into it than I am. Hector, you might know a little bit of it, but cryptocurrency. Right now, it's like the huge thing. Well, it's been like the huge thing, right? I remember when Bitcoin came out, a long time ago, years ago. I know a couple of buddies of mine told me to get into it, and I never did. I just didn't understand it, didn't think it was gonna be anything, and now people can't stop talking about cryptocurrency, right? So I'm gonna kick it off to Gio. Gio, tell us about cryptocurrency and just like the huge takeoff that it's had, and now we have like dozens of them, right? Like just different kinds of cryptocurrencies going around. And what do you see the future being like with these things?
Yeah. So a lot of people look at cryptocurrencies as a way to invest money and then make a return on your money. And unless you're in it for the long haul, that's very difficult. You're like the cryptocurrency market right now is super volatile. We just saw like a 30% collapse on almost all cryptocurrencies just this last weekend. And that type of behavior is not good for a short-term return, right? We're going to assume that it's going to continue. If enough people believe in the system, in the cryptocurrency system, then eventually it's going to go up. Mm-hmm. But I think we need to step away and look at the big picture when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Instead of looking at it as an investment, let's look at what it could actually offer as a technology when it comes to replacing existing currencies. So if we compare it to, say, the US dollar, the dollar is what's considered a fiat currency, which is basically we will it. Fiat is means we will it into being. So we decided it is, so therefore it is. Mm-hmm. And we trust in it. There's faith in that it's backed up by the U.S. government and its military and its economy, and so people are willing to exchange U.S. dollars, right?
Yeah. So there's just faith in the value that we give it. We have all established that that's what the value of the dollar.
Yeah. At some point, it was backed up by gold, but mm-hmm. At some point in the 1960s, there was a law that was passed that would then detach the U.S. dollar from gold, and now the U.S. dollar is its own thing. It's just backed up by our perceptions of it. Mm-hmm. But it's not just that; it's also the fact that the U.S. government has the ability to print its own currency, and in a sense, inflate the value of the currency, meaning that the more of these these dollars that there are in circulation, the less your dollar is worth. And so by policy, the US dollar is known as a inflationary. Did I say deflationary earlier? I mean inflation. Mm-hmm. So it's an inflationary currency. So over time, it loses value. And the way we justify that is to say, well, with more money, you have more ability to invest into new types of companies, into new ventures, new technologies emerge, right? Now because your dollar is worth less, it doesn't matter, right? Because you have an iPhone and you have the technology, you have all these benefits that have come with more capital being moved around. Mm-hmm. So, and the government has control over that. The government controls the money supply and can reduce the money supply by manipulating certain variables or increase it by continuing to print money. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, what's so revolutionary about it is that there is no central control over the currency. The way it's defined is that everybody has a piece of some data, or let's call it a piece of paper, right, that we call a ledger, that takes into account all the transactions that have happened between, let's say, Bitcoin, right? And this ledger exists on every single computer that interfaces with the network. Everybody has a copy of the ledger. Everybody knows, not everybody knows because it's encrypted, but everybody can be assured that what transaction has happened is a transaction that happened. And the way to validate those transactions is what we call mining, right? So when you mine for a Bitcoin, what you're doing is you're offering up your computer power, your GPUs and your CPUs, and really your electrical power in order to validate the next ledger that's going to be created. So the next, and what this is called a blockchain, right? And so it's a chain of blocks, and each block that's added to the chain is validated by somebody, right? Or it's actually validated by the network, because there's many miners all mining simultaneously.
Right.
And
So at this point, you're just offering up your computer so that it continues the program that verifies the transactions.
exactly, yeah. And because everybody's verifying it together, there's no central authority, like when it comes to the US dollar, to tell you, oh, I want to move money here, or I want to do this with my money, right? Because it's all encrypted. You can't, we don't know who's moved the money, but because it's validated in a decentralized way, we can be assured that nobody's cheating. And if anybody did try to cheat, you would be going against the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of miners that are all saying, no, you're wrong. Your ledger is a false ledger, and we're going to override you. And then the consensus wins. And so it's a decentralized way of ensuring transactions on a network that's encrypted. So you don't need like, what is it called? The ability, there's certain companies out there that allow you to move money from one place to another. Let's say you want to move money to Guatemala, it has to go through a third party that then takes a fee off of that, and then the money gets to your family. With Bitcoin, if your family in Guatemala had a Bitcoin wallet, you can transfer the money electronically, or transfer the Bitcoin electronically, anonymously, and without any fees, and instantaneously, without waiting for anything. And so that's the real breakthrough that has happened. Now, people that are living in totalitarian governments are allowed to move money and invest in things that the government may not be in favor of, right? And so it doesn't apply here, because just almost anybody can apply for a bank account and start moving money through with your Visa card, and starting to make payments. Not everybody in the U.S. has that ability, by the way. But for the most part, it's less of a problem here. But in other countries, you can imagine that there are certain individuals or certain groups of people that are maybe oppressed, that want to move money, and they're not able, because the government has restrictions on their currency. And through a cryptocurrency, you're able to do that safely.